Abdominal walk. Okay, alright, stand up. Stand up. Thank you very much. Hold on. Where are you feeling it? Just let them know. Where are you feeling it? You hear about?
Good day, friends. My name is Olasode Oladapo, and I am both excited and humbled to bring you this wonderful magic moments of inspiration. We've been having a beautiful time since we began this journey, and I believe that you are a step closer to your greatness than you were before we began this journey. Today's topic is one I am very passionate about. This is because it could almost single-handedly assure you of greatness. Truly great men value what we are going to discuss today above their power, above their wealth, above their possessions. I'm talking about learning. We are talking today about the power of learning. You see, learning is an extremely powerful tool because via learning you acquire knowledge. Knowledge produced from the experiences of great men that have gone ahead of you. You acquire knowledge by learning. Knowledge gives you an edge over your contemporaries and positions you for greatness. So if you say that knowledge is the bedrock of greatness, you will be spot on. Let me say this, dear friend. There's a body of knowledge out there that will extremely and dramatically transform your life. By knowledge, I mean a body of information that forms the basis of your actions. This knowledge is available for you to acquire by learning. That's one major reason I'm assured of your greatness, because I know the exact thing you need to become great is available out there. However, you need to learn it. You need to develop what I call the learner's attitude. You need to have your mind tuned to a frequency that it makes you receive knowledge easily. You need to have your mind in a place where you can quickly identify and absorb the knowledge that you need. There's a saying which goes thus: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So that means that you've not encountered the knowledge you need because you're not ready to learn it. When you are, knowledge will flow to you effortlessly for as long as you have the learner's attitude. Having said this, the $1,000,000 question is what contributes the learner's attitude. Allow me to explain the answer to that question in the following. It's an understanding that you don't know all you need to know to achieve your greatness. A major component of the learner's attitude is when you know. And in case you don't know, I put it to you that there is something out there that you don't know, but you need to know to achieve the greatness you so seek seriously. It is developing an unquenchable desire for that knowledge that you need to know. So once you know that there's something I need to know to achieve what I want to achieve, then you become passionate about knowing that thing. The learner's attitude is also knowing that teachers are hidden in every event, in every experience, in every encounter you have as you journey through this world. The learner's attitude is understanding that you can multiply the scope and speed of your learning if you position yourself to learn from others, both learners and non-learners alike. This understanding will lead you to voracious reading. It will lead you to developing mentorship and learning relationships. It will lead you to keenly observing events around you and a lot more other things. The learner's attitude is developing the habit of meditation and questioning. One of the things that is not encouraged in Africa so much is questioning. And until you ask questions, you may not unearth hidden knowledge. Is the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn as the situation demands. In conclusion, the learner's attitude is the attitude that must be consciously and deliberately maintained by the person that is journeying to greatness. This is the only way you can fully maximize your potential for greatness. If learning has brought people greatness in the past, I'm sure learning will also bring you greatness. I have had a wonderful time sharing this bits with you at this time, and I believe that something important has been deposited into your heart. So I want to say thank you to our producers and the station for bringing me this opportunity. I want to encourage you to not just hear what we say, but you should make use of them. Till next week when I come your way, your greatness is assured. Have a great day ahead.
On aloe vera. History shows us that aloe vera is one of the oldest mentioned plants on record due to its medicinal properties and health benefits. Ancient Chinese and Egyptians used aloe vera to treat burns, wounds, and reduce fever. Legend reports that Alexander the Great, upon the advice of Aristotle, conquered the island of Socotra off the coast of Africa to secure supplies of aloe vera in order to treat wounded soldiers. Cleopatra used aloe vera in her daily skin treatment. In 1944, the Japanese who were exposed to a bomb applied aloe vera to their wound and report faster healing and less scarring. Aloe vera is grown commercially for health and moisturizing benefits found inside its leaves. The aloe vera plant is one of the most studied plants in the natural products category. An adult aloe vera plant reaches maturity at 3 to 4 years and can reach a height of 30 inches with up to 21 leaves. Aloe vera contains over 200 biologically active, natural occurring constituents including polysaccharides, vitamins, enzymes, amino acids, and minerals that promote nutrient absorption, digestive health, a healthy immune system, and a reduction of nitrates. Common health benefits of aloe vera: support healthy digestion, moisturize and hydrate skin, support a healthy immune system, reduce harmful toxins, increase absorption of nutrients, enhance antioxidant support, balance stomach acidity naturally, and joint discomfort. The species was first discovered by Carl Linnaeus in 1753 as Aloparphyrites valvera. It was described again in 1768 by Nicholas Boehmer as aloe vera in Flora, India on 6th April, and by Philip Miller as Aloe barbadensis. Aloe vera is a succulent plant species of genus Aloe. Aloe vera is from the kingdom Plantae. There are two types of aloe vera leaf: gel and leaf juice. The gel is what most people are familiar with. It is the odorless and clear liquid at the innermost part of the leaf. Aloe latex or juice sips from the leaf when cut. It has a bitter taste. Aloe vera can be grown indoors, just about anywhere. Aloe vera can be found thriving in various regions of the world: Southwest US, Southern East Asia, Mexico, and Central. Aloe vera includes several necessary vitamins: vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B3, vitamin B6, and vitamin B12. Vitamin A, C, and E are antioxidants and help burn off free radicals, which can contribute to cancer, heart disease, and other illness. Aloe vera is widely used today in food. It is approved by FDA as flowering, cosmetic, food supplements, herbal remedies, and so on. The earliest record of human use for aloe vera comes from papyrus, an Egyptian medical record from the 16th century BC. According to a study published in the Indian Journal of Dermatology, in ancient Egypt, they call aloe vera that plant of immortality. The author added that the plant has been used therapeutically for many centuries in China, Japan, India, Greece, Egypt, Mexico, and so on. The medicinal claims made about aloe vera is with many herbs and plants are endless. Some are backed by rigorous scientific studies. Teeth and gum. Aloe vera in tooth gel is as effective as toothpaste in fighting cavities. The gel is just as good, and in some cases even better than the commercial toothpaste at controlling cavity causing oral bacteria. Contain compounds that actively heal and reduce pain through natural anti-inflammatory effects. Constipation. German Regulatory Agency for Herbs, Commission E, approved the use of aloe vera for the treatment of constipation. Dosages of 50 to 200 milligrams of aloe latex are commonly taken in liquid. Diabetes, including foot ulcer. The gel formed with carbon 974%, and aloe vera promotes significant wound healing and closure in diabetes compared with the commercial product, and provide a promising product to be used in diabetes, including foot ulcer. Antioxidants and possible antimicrobial properties, especially the leaf skin extracts. Aloe vera extracts from leaf skin and flower can be considered as good natural antioxidant source. Protection from skin damage after radiation therapy. A study carried out at the University of Naples, Italy, tested 5 different topical creams to see how effective they might be in protecting the skin of breast cancer patients receiving
So we're not going to manage the time of ours. My name is Olasukomi, and I have the commander of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, State Commander, here with me in the studio. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank
It's been a long time.
Thank you.
Yeah, June 26th, has been declared as the International Drug Day. So, what about it? So let's start with that.
Let's start from the theme.
Okay.
The theme for this year is addressing drug challenges in health and humanitarian crisis.
Addressing health challenges
In health,
drug challenges in humanitarian
and
humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
So
that's the theme for this year. And we can see from what is going on in the country nowadays, not only in Nigeria, around the world. There are a lot of internal crises, a lot of violence. Even we are just coming out from COVID-19. We are going to monkeypox and all these things. So it's a public health issue, and it's affecting humanity generally. So the theme is to address it in a proper perspective,
okay?
And not in terms of just looking at drug abuse in terms of criminality, but looking at it from public health safety and the humanitarian angle.
So if we are fighting drug abuse around that corner now, health and humanitarian crisis, yes, the Boko Haram started and there's so many people pushed into the IDP.
Yes.
They are flooding here and there, people are gathered somewhere.
Yes.
There are crises here and there, and people are no longer staying in their regular homes.
Yes.
So wherever they are staying, they are bound to be exchange of words and other things.
Yes.
So definitely they discuss drugs, if I'm inclined.
Yes.
So I invite others. So what is the NDLA going to do now to get to these places and make sure they sensitize them against that abuse and trafficking?
Okay, even before today, in all the IDP camps in Nigeria, NDLAs were involved.
Okay.
We usually go there to sensitize people, to educate them.
Okay.
And our officers there to ensure that drugs are not freely used. So, but with this June 26th, we are going to take a broader perspective to it, to see public health issue, public health safety, so that people will be more aware, more conscious of what is involved in drug abuse and trafficking, even when we have this health and humanitarian crisis.
People that deals in drug, distributing it to people, are living amongst us.
Yes.
And if there are no sellers, there won't be buyers.
Yes.
So don't let us focus alone on the users.
Yes.
How are we going to deal with the suppliers,
Is it,
particularly during this period?
the problem we are having
Yes.
is that we only look at the seller. We are not
The
looking
sellers,
We
okay.
are not looking at the users.
The users, okay.
And the users are more than the sellers.
Users are more than the sellers. Hey,
That's why we have the problem. So if we are looking at the supply, we must look at the demand.
okay.
If as you have said, you say without supply there won't be demand. Without demand there won't be supply.
So the two
The two must work hand in hand.
Okay.
And with this team, that's why I said we are not going to look at drug abuse from this criminality aspect. alone. We want to look at it from the angle of public health safety. We want to look at humanitarian aspect of it. We want to look at how we can let people know the effect, the problem involved before going there.
Now, this is an opportunity for us to talk to people larger than what you'll be doing at a corner.
Yes.
If you are in a school, you are talking to a very small percentage.
Yes.
But coming on radio or television gives us an opportunity to talk to a dispersed audience. Now, I want you to use the next 2, 3, 4 minutes talking to our people on the implication of abusing drug, or me. If I abuse any drug, what health implication does it have on me? And I must be warned.
Okay. Thank you very much. Drug has 3 larger effects.
Okay.
One is the physical consequences of drug, which affect the health of the user himself.
Okay.
It destroys the vital organs of the body.
Okay.
The liver, the kidney, the pancreas, the brain, and so on. The blood. That is the physical aspect of it. The other aspect is the psychological aspect of it,
Okay.
which affects the mental health state of the person, as hallucination, hula baloo, and all this kind of thing. And the third one that affects not only the person, the family, and the society is the socio-economic consequences
Okay.
of drug abuse. That is what lead to mostly domestic violence, marriage, the divorce, marriage, unproductivity,
single parenting,
unemployment, unproductivity, thuggery, all these political problems that we are facing, cultism, and so on and so forth. Those are the the larger effect fallout of drug abuse.
Okay.
So it is not only the person that is using. Yorùbá máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ kan wọ́n ń ta ilé ẹni bá ń jẹ ètò oúnjẹ kòrò dúdú tá
a bá tètè sọ fún
un. So it's not only the person that is using the drug that is going to affect. It's going to affect the immediate family. It's going to affect the extended family. It's going to affect this community. It's going to affect the society and the country at large.
So what you are doing here is warning that person taking bad kokoro.
Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
So that the impact of eating this bad object on you, that it will not come back to us.
Yes.
What the commander is saying is, if you are into it, desist.
Exactly.
So what other thing are we going to tell them?
I'm going to tell them that most of the thing that leads to drug abuse, drug will not solve the problem. The problem is still there.
Okay, let me say now, look at me. What is it that I may be passing through that could lead me into drug?
Yeah. Some is experimentation, some is curiosity, some is economic hardship, some is family tension, some is psychological problem, some is physiological problem, some is availability of the drug. But irrespective of what leads the person to that consumption of drug, we not solve the problem of that person.
Using drug to solve a problem will not solve the problem. It's rather compounded.
Yes. So it's better you face your problem head on and solve it.
As a drug fighter,
yes,
what other alternative will you prescribe for an individual now? If I'm passing through some challenges,
yes.
What other thing do I have to get myself engaged in?
Depend on the nature of the individual.
The challenges, okay?
The nature of the challenges itself, the makeup of the individual, the age, the exposure, the understanding,
okay,
will determine what will be done for the person. But overall, what is good for the person is we have our counseling people that are going to tell you what you can do. One, to resist going to drug. Two, if you're already there, to cope with it. And three, how to get out of it.
Okay.
So depending on the stage the person is and the composition and even the nature of the drug itself. Because somebody taking cannabis and taking cocaine, they have different approach to the issue. Some are depressant, some are stimulant, some are both. So the nature, the effect of the drug itself will determine the treatment for that person.
Here in Osun, how are you fighting it? And what are those things that you have highlighted as program of activity for this sensitization period?
Thank you very much. Sometime the last time I came here, you asked the number they can reach us to have complaints.
Okay.
After that time, we have a dedicated number for people that are seeking help.
Okay, people that are seeking help, yeah, they are already in drug and they are seeking help.
Yeah, they want help of their family because of stigmatization or something. Stigmatization, they don't want to come. They don't want to come to our office. They don't want people to give them. We have a number that we have released.
Okay.
All you have to do is call that number, and you can discuss a step.
Can you give us the number today?
Yeah, I can give you the number. 0809
0809
3004
3004
235.
235.
Yeah.
So this is the number to call.
If you call the number, Osun State Drug Demand Reduction Unit, that is their number. They will attend to you. You don't need to come to our office. You can state your problem. Do you have health? This is the drug problem I'm having. This is what my child is experiencing. This one, you don't want people to see you. Just call the number. The people that are experts, they will be able to offer you professional advice. That's one of the things we are doing. Then this one now, this program is part of it.
Okay.
We are having extensively this 1 week period for this our June 26th. We are having extensive deliberation on TV and radio throughout the week that we are going to reach out to people. Then on Saturday, we are going to do a road walk, in which we are going to distribute pamphlets, leaflets, information to people up and down the town. We are going to do that on Saturday. Even that Saturday, we are going to have a football match between NDLA and NYC Drug Free Club Friday we are going to mosque. Sunday we are going to church. Monday we are still going to Fountain University. Hopefully, we go and launch our wider club and so on. So we have a series of activities for this period to make sure that everybody is informed and educated about what constitutes drug abuse and what can be done to solve the problem.
I most appreciate you for all these efforts. I remember the other time you came here, we discussed about people partnering with your agency.
Yeah.
You said you cannot do it alone.
Exactly.
Partnering in what sense? I asked a question about in-house counseling units.
Yes.
I asked you whether you have this. You said you are working on one, but you are seeking assistance from people. Philanthropists are all there. Can you use this opportunity to call them?
Yes, I want to appeal to the government and the people of Osun State. If they can really come to the aid and assistance of NDLA in having a standard and modern rehabilitation center. You see, in this rehabilitation center, it serves as a pool where a lot of things can be done. It's educative, it's informative, and it's reformative in nature. You can bring your child there, you can come by yourself, you can make referral and so on and so on. But like I said, in the whole of Osun State, there is no one single drug
rehabilitation center.
And it is very bad because we cannot treat all drug users as on phone. We cannot treat everybody as a dealer rather. Users must be separated from dealers. Some people are just using it. They have health challenges. Those people they can still be useful to the society. They can still be useful for themselves. And this is where we can meet them and let them realize and inform them and bring them out of these drug challenges.
Well, sorry for that break in transmission there. It was due to power failure. Yeah, the last question I'm going to put to our guest before we will close this session is your activity now. We talked about religious organization getting involved. You talked about good parenting as a way to check getting into drug. So how much are we going to do on this around this celebration of the United Nations Day?
Thank you very much. One of the key elements of this campaign is to let the parents and the society be aware of their role in ensuring that the society is drug-free. As I've said sometimes ago, these people using drugs or selling drugs come out from a house.
Okay.
They have family.
They have their father and their mother.
They have somebody. So if the people have done what they are supposed to do, a lot of things could have been checked.
Okay.
So it is now left for us as individuals, as parents, as neighbors, as friends, to continue to commit ourselves that this society can only be better if everybody performs his or her own expected role. Okay. So as a parent, we must look after our child. As neighbor, we must look after our neighbors. As friends, we must look after for ourselves. And as society, we must look out for a larger society so that everybody can be safe.
That will be our brother's keepers.
That's
where we're going to wrap it up on this first segment of our guest segment this morning. I thank everyone, and I most sincerely apologize for coming a little bit behind schedule. We are just managing our time. The person you've been listening to is the commander of the Osun State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA, Commander Jomade Ogumbe. It's my pleasure having you in the studio today. And I must say again that it's not only one ear. On this entourage is Charles Afosa Odige, CSN, and Bosede Esther Fadare. It's my pleasure, and I wish you the best celebration for the June 26th, 2022. Thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, good morning one more time, and I say welcome to this second guest segment. On this segment this morning, we'll be looking at the 40 electoral process and the fragile Nigerian democracy. You know, democracy is on the air, and to answer my question is Mr. Olufemi Nelson, who is a development expert, a media entrepreneur, and a pro-democracy activist. He is the current national editor of the Campaign for Democracy and convener, Yoruba Summit Group. So it's my pleasure welcoming you to the studio this morning.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, democracy, we know must not be limited to functional electioneering alone. It must not be limited to good rule of law. It must not be limited to independent judiciary. And in a functional democracy, we must be talking of periodic, free and fair elections and so many other things. So all this together, if we look into a democratic process or activities, how much of this do we have on a very positive scale?
Good morning once again. I want to say that our own is a democracy that is still nascent, a growing one, and very far from attaining those indices they just filled out. But the good thing is that if you look at where we started from in 1999, being the Fourth Republic, you realize that a lot of progress has been made, and a lot of lessons are there for us to learn as a people. Because the idea is not that 23 years after we should have attained a perfect system, we should have had a democracy that is having that is working well, and all these tenets being in place. No. Even in the best of democracies today, there's always that window for improvement, and ours will not be an exception. But my own concern, and what I think should be our concern as Nigerians, is how much are we willing or are we contributing towards ensuring that this democracy grows beyond where it is, especially when you look at how our elections are conducted. And when you talk about elections in Nigeria, a lot of people have reduced the business of election to the job of INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and the political parties, which is not true. To have a credible election and to have a democracy where election will meet the aspiration of the people, it must involve the input of every stakeholders, including the media.
Okay, let's take it one after the other now. You mentioned the media, you mentioned the INEC, you mentioned the people. Now let's start with the party. The internal democracy within a political party is fraught of so many things that we don't understand. Let's look at the nomination forms and expression of interest, the costs. Let's look at the imposition of candidates, unpopular in some instances. Let's look at disagreement amongst them. You said you are in a political party, and I think if we're in a club, there are bound to be disagreement and agreement. If we disagree today, we agree tomorrow. And most times when you see them disagreeing, that disagreement becomes unresolved. They will go to court and there will be counter this and counter that. How much of this influence have on democracy?
Thank you. You see, the political system in Nigeria is such that it's as immature as the democracy itself. And that is why today we cannot expect, a well-coordinated, proper internal democracy within political parties, especially when you look at even how the system in its entirety is being operated. Today, most of the operatives of our political parties are not Democrats. In actual fact, many of them, as at 1998, do not believe that Nigeria deserves democracy. So you cannot really blame them if when they are not in charge, they are now in charge of political parties, and they begin to show this kind of tendencies. A lot of them were people brought up in the jackboot manner. They can sit down and appoint administrators in Zamfara, Kebbi, Calabar, and Oshu, not knowing that the people and stakeholders within the party have roles to play. But now, this is changing. If you look at the culture of imposition, it is now becoming something that is now being challenged, even by the children of nobody who are stakeholders within the party. So you cannot separate what is happening within the political parties from the political system itself, where the candidate who is least popular, even in the general election, will be declared. We have had in this country where somebody who came forth in an election became declared as a governor-elect. We have had a situation whereby, people who did not even participate in the process will go and buy some funny court injunctions and become a representative. So it is not peculiar to the political parties. It's about the system. And that is why we must keep insisting that we advance the cause of our democracy, and the political parties have a lot of role to play. Beyond the fact that they are missing democratic tendencies within the political party, the parties are now also playing their role in educating their members, in mobilizing citizens, and doing other relevant things that political parties should do in a democracy.
Okay. Now we're going forward from there. Let's look at the constitution upon which we are building all this. If you are a teacher and you have a red pen with you, you're going to award mark. If you look at our constitution and the way it's woven, how many marks are you going to the award for that?
Well, first of all, I don't believe it's our constitution. This constitution was not made by the people of Nigeria. This constitution was given to us by a group of military generals and their consultants who, after taking some very good portion of coffee or whatever in the villa with General Abdul Salam in 1998, brought out a document.
Okay.
And unfortunately, sadly, imputed in the opening paragraph of that document that we the people, we at what point? And until we correct the foundation of the making of that constitution, which is premised on a paragraph that is not our aspiration, we cannot even talk about so many other faults that are in the constitution. Nigeria must be ready to go back to a constitution that be made by the people, either by our National Assembly, by the Constituent Assembly, or through a referendum. Some of us believe strongly that we must remain as a country, united, formidable. But that must be built on a genuine people constitution. That is something people cannot sit down and impose a document and call it who, at what point? And that is why most of the faults you witness within our democracy today are imputed and are encouraged by the constitution that we operate. Because the constitution itself is not a document of sincerity. So it is just a document that has been guiding us since 1999 to forcefully exist as a people. We are now hoping that the next dispensation, by the grace of God, will have the courage to do what the people of Nigeria have been yearning for, to give Nigerian people a constitution of the Nigerian people, not a military imposed constitution.
Okay. Now, 1999 to date is a solid 23 years. And ever since we've been talking about not having a solid constitution, this man had been voted for a councillor. At another time, he became a chairman. At another time, he became a governor of the state, and he's now in the National Assembly. And all these 23 years, if you listen to him, what he will say is, we are operating a faulty constitution. But why is it not possible for that man, for this man who believes that we are operating a faulty constitution, why not come together and work and bring out a better one? And I remember in 2014, the president then, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, called a conference. And the conference sat, and they came up with a white paper. That white paper today is hiding somewhere. Who is keeping it there? Why are we not bringing out that paper? So that we can, if not everything, let's say, okay, contesting. These people are qualified to do this. Your certificates, these are your qualification to contest for this office. If you do this once, you cannot do it twice. So all these things, we get some of these issues cleared, one after the other. Why are some people bent on continuing operating with that faulty constitution?
To start with, even if you bring an angel to come and operate under the current constitution, it will not make any difference. And this constitution will not be changed
until
by people who are currently operating it. If you bring the best of your people into the National Assembly today or into any position dictated by this constitution, you will become a victim of the constitution. So that's why you cannot see anybody, irrespective of their previous agitations, within the current political system, that is going to be able to change this constitution. The moment they get inside, they become consumed. This constitution operated by Nigeria is a monster that consumes people the moment they are elected or appointed. The most recent of all efforts, genuine, to give Nigeria a working constitution and a people's constitution was the 2014 National Conference that you referred to.
okay.
I have read the 90-something pages of that report, and I want to say that it's the best of the documents, and I don't have it prepared to move this country forward. So all that is needed is for the government to implement the recommendations of that conference. And if that is not done, it is still going to be the people. In the same way they were represented, the Nigerian people who were represented by the Christian Association, civil society, the Islamic groups, the political parties, and all sorts of groups, the professional groups that came together in 2014 to make that confirmed report that will now sit to draft a people's constitution. But we are waiting for these people who are already victims of the constitution to change this constitution. It will never happen, because this constitution is a monster that consumes them immediately they come in. So they will not change it. So it is not left for the Nigerian people to continue to demand that we have a new constitution, a people's constitution that is genuinely going to answer to the definition of we the people, not this kind of the military imposed constitution that we're working on.
You are an activist.
Yes.
You are a member of the Campaign for Democracy.
Yes.
And there are so many other
Groups.
like that. What are this group going to do for us? After that, talked about the judiciary. You may delve into talking about the role of press. These three arms, what are they going to do in bringing out a working constitution for this country?
You see, that we still have democracy in Nigeria today after 24 years. That the military has not been able to return from the barrack to hijack political leadership in this country. Credit must be given to the Nigerian media. You people have done a lot. The civil society has done a lot, and the resilient Nigerian people on the streets. If it had not been for the consistent guidance of the media, the civil society, and the ordinary Nigerians on the street, democracy would have gone back. If you look at the way some of these people who are operatives of our democracy today are behaving. That's why I said a lot of them are not Democrats. A lot of them do not even believe in democracy. They are only there by accident. So what are we going to do? We will continue to do what we have been doing. The media will continue to expose the faults that exist within this context of our democracy. We in the civil society will continue to speak and continue to demand that we give to Nigerians a people's constitution. And we continue to also sensitize Nigerians on the need to continuously demand for a constitution that will be called the people's constitution.
Okay.
That is the way to go. Because if you are looking forward to any court or anybody in the National Assembly or the executive, no miracle will happen.
No miracle will happen. Okay, while managing the context as it were now, I want to look at the radios and television will be hosting politicians, representing political parties, and they'll be coming around to tell us we are not in support of any Togri, we are not in support of vote buy. Yet on election day, there'll be stories about vote buy. Yet on election day, there'll be story on Togri, ballot boxes snatching and all the rest. Who are the sponsors? Who are the perpetrators? Who are they working for?
Well, nobody will accept responsibility for any form of electoral malpractice, violence, or whatever you may witness during elections. It is all left for the Nigerian states, particularly the security agencies, and the Nigerian people to always identify and expose the sponsors of electoral violence and malpractices. Because even when you catch a thief with a goat, it can still tell you that it was sent to go and bring it by someone. Nobody wants to admit that it's actually a crook, especially when it comes to political party elections and politics. But the truth is that as Nigerians, we have a duty to expose atrocities. Our security agencies must improve on their professionalism to the extent that even people who intend to perpetrate malpractices during our elections become so careful because they know that there will be consequences for their action. So it is not going to be the will of politicians not to buy votes or not to perpetrate violence. It's going to be our will as the people
not to join them,
to ensure that it doesn't happen.
Okay. Now we look at poverty in the land. Let's look at corruption in the land. And let's say how impactful these two are on our electoral processes. People are hungry. Don't let us deceive ourselves. And there are people, money bags, who are ready to say, let me give you a peanut, give me your vote. And I tell the people, if your vote is not important, there won't be people coming to buy it. So they should know that that single vote, my vote, is important. It must be added. So how are we going to talk about poverty in the land and corruption that's accompanying it?
We'll start talking about it from the very way you have spoken about it.
Okay.
We must get the people educated. We must let the people know that their votes
Counts.
count and it's important. And that is why somebody is willing to buy it.
Okay.
Because when we talk about poverty, hunger, the history of poverty and hunger is as old as the history of humanity. People
So it
continue
will
to
be
be
with
hungry.
us.
People will continue to be poor. People are poor in so many other countries where elections are conducted. So it's all about education. We must do more in educating the people. Sadly, this is supposed to be one of the roles of the political parties, which deliberately they have left out. Parties should be able to mobilize citizens, educate them. A lot of time when I see people say, Iraq cannot do all this job. Iraq is doing his part, but what are you doing as political parties? The only group that I can say, as we're doing this, is the media and the civil society, telling people, don't sell your vote, this and that. So there will always be poverty, there will always be hunger, but we have a duty to let the people know the importance of their vote.
Okay.
And why it is being sought after by people who are ready to buy. And by the time we continue to do this, I know a lot of our people will have the need to listen.
Okay. If we look at the recently concluded election in Ekiti, look at the population of the state. Look at the number of people that are registered to vote. Look at the total number of people that came out to vote. Overall, just a little about 300 people had elected a new governor for that state. Look at the larger elections coming in 2023. How are we going to make sure that that election will be determined by a larger percentage of Nigerians? I want you to talk about disabusing people's mind, because there are a lot of apathy in the land. People are not interested. They are not interested at all and say, to hang with their elections.
Well, it's very sad. It's sad to the extent that whether you are interested or not in what happens in your country or your state, you are a ready-made victim of whatever policy the state implements. So when I look at people who say, we don't believe it doesn't matter, I don't see them as being ignorant. But we have a duty to educate them. Because if you think, let's go that time, go and elect a governor, and the governor comes into place and begin to implement taxes, the taxes are not going to be imposed on people who voted alone. If there are policies of the state, it has to affect. So you should be interested in electing somebody who can implement policies that you know will be of advantage to you. So it is not wise for anybody to begin to say we are losing confidence in the process and because of that we will not vote. The funniest thing about democracy is about it is just about the majority. Majority is not defined by numbers. Majority means if only 10 people voted and 6 voted for somebody and 4 the other way,
it is the 6.
The 6 is defined as majority.
Yeah.
Majority does not mean millions. It does not mean thousands. Majority only means the higher number. So whether you vote or not, the majority will always determine who becomes your governor, your senator, your rep, your president. So it is only wise that you key into the process, participate, and use your strength to elect the people that you want into position. Well, if we keep saying we are not interested, some people will even sit there and conclude that we don't want to be the outcome. We can't continue to do that. Nigerians must rise and participate in the process. But it's important to know majority.
It's important to know that majority votes will come on top. Now, churches are shouting. Mosques are doing the same thing. And I know for sure that school authorities will be putting it on their billboards here and there that students should go and collect their PVCs once they are of age. parents, like I told my daughter who just turned 18, you must go and get registered. So these are things that we need to do. INEC cannot do it alone. Now, you said, God bless you, that the political parties should get involved. Which other organs should get involved in educating our people about elections and its processes?
Thank you. The media are fantastic. You have been doing a lot. I always give kudos to the media.
Okay.
The media has been very frontal in defense of our democracy. But beyond the media and the political parties,
Okay.
now the religious organizations are getting involved. In fact, families are now getting involved. Now, if you look at the social media, that is the talk there every day. Now, professional organizations, artisan groups must now get involved. When we have our hairdressers meeting, let's tell our members not only to get PVC, but a lot of people just get this PVC because they want to use it in bank or to correct their document. We must also tell them that you have to get this PVC
and come out on election day.
So this education must continue, and it must not be left in the hand of political parties or the media who has been doing a lot alone.
Okay.
It must include, every other stakeholders, including our family units.
Okay. Yeah. My next question and the last one is this. I just want us to look at the way we do things. Also, in under 23 days, we'll be having our own election. And as a man or a representative of a group that is campaigning for our democracy, I want you to use this opportunity to talk to our people. One, I don't want people to destabilize our state. Because it's only when there is peace there will be progress and development.
Yes.
I want to warn that lady, I want to warn that boy who has been marked to go and snatch a ballot box. I want to warn that mama, I want to warn you to warn that baba or mama who will be ready to say, this is my VVC, collect 2,000 naira and vote for me. That in doing such a thing, we are not helping ourselves.
Yes.
Say it. I'm not saying that I've gotten somebody somewhere or some group of people somewhere who are going to buy vote. But I know for sure that since we are coming out of Ekiti, we've been hearing that story, that there are a lot of vote buying and selling. Osho is the next now. So use this opportunity to campaign to them.
We must let the people of Osun State know that this is about the future, it's about their life,
Okay.
it's about their children, and they must be interested in who governs the state to the extent that their dream can be actualized. Osun people should not follow or make themselves available for use for those who believe elections should be fire for fire, elections should be monetized. People who only campaign is that they have money to buy their votes. Because it's so pathetic that politicians even go on the platform to campaign with the level of inducement we are witnessing. Campaign with dollars, with pounds and euro. Our democracy should not be allowed to go that route. And that is why the people of Osun State must see the July 16 election as the future of Osun State. Education, good roads, employment for their people. And that is what should determine their choice of candidates.
Thank you very much.
Not the man who can buy votes or who have the strength, to fight.
This is where we're going to draw the curtain this morning, and I must appreciate my guest. My guest, like I told you at the beginning, is Mr. Lawson Olufemi, and he's a development expert, a media entrepreneur, and a pro-democracy activist. I told you Ace is the current national auditor of the Campaign for Democracy and convener Yoruba Summit Group. I most appreciate you for coming on the program this morning.
Pleasure,
and thank you very much. He's not along with me in the studio, but I don't have the names of your followers. Can you just mention their names? Okay.
Professor Shalai.
Thank you very much for coming. I'm Olasu Kamio. Thank you on behalf of my colleagues in the studio, the producer, Olushola Agoleye, and the executive producer, Jolade Igbarola. What we are saying here is we can see have a better democracy. We need to work together to enjoy that and to achieve it.
Sure.
So it's possible. Until some other time when we'll be coming your way, have a blessed Wednesday. Bye-bye.